What's up, vannynation? My name's Vanny. Thanks for tapping in. Remember to subscribe and like if you're new or old, who cares? And today we're going to be discussing my game that I've been working on for about a year for the cards, but the concepts are about 8 years old that I've just been crafting different stories out of. And I combine it into one canon and let other people add to it, and here we are. I made videos last year, but the game wasn't finished, so I took them down because they weren't representative of my game anymore. So we're going to make this video and release it the same day. It's like February or March, I don't know. But anyways, what's up? I'm Vanny, and here is Tapn, the basic premise of the game, right, is to KO your opponent's U card. You have a U card of your own, and they are basically your HP and your life points of the game. If they get KO'd on the field, then you lose. And yeah, they're always on the field, which is the scary part. So it's funny. So yeah, with that in mind, you have to play your deck building strategy just the best. That's the first thing you play against yourself. And then you build your deck and realize that you're ready to take on someone. Let's get into how to play the game. Here we have a beautiful U card called the Scientist. It is a U card because it has U right there, and the type of card is in orange, usually at the top. It shows what type of card it is. And yeah, we're gonna get into color codes now. For anybody who played TCGs, I don't know if they do color codes in your games, but our game is color coded. Not like this, this is usually just to tell, this is like aesthetic purposes, but for moves and card text, we're color coded. Orange, as you can see here, is a move. They're usually attacks or things to help the card. Well, all the texts are, but orange is like specific for attacking. And yeah, once you use one orange on a card, you can't use another orange text on that card until the next turn. It's like getting tired, basically. And yeah, once you do that, you can't really do it again. But you have other types of colors to mess with. So if your card has a green text, which this one does, because it's a U card, U cards always have like at least one or two green texts on them. And green texts are called constants and activators, which is weird that they're both, constant and activatable. But you hear me out. It's easy to explain. Green is like for cards who have like perks or abilities. Well, not perks, like a form of like you can't touch this and I can't do that, and just like requirements and things on the field that change. Like it can't be poisoned and gain 2 cards when you kill this type of fighter, stuff like that. And yeah, that's basically constants. But an activator is still a green text, but instead of being constant, you have to pay an IQ and it'll activate that green text, and you could do it as many times as you like per turn. And those are usually defense type of text. But yeah, if it's green and it has IQ, usually activate it, and you can do that as many times as you want. Purple text is called abilities, where you pay nothing and they activate at the beginning of your turn after you gain IQ and draw your card. That's when your abilities on the field activate. And yeah, blue is IQ, and it's the pay IQ, and red is your HP. So if you see like pay 2 HP, and yeah, you pay the HP on the card. Yellow is perks. Perks are like a whole new thing, like armor. They take like the spiciness of a constant and an activator and combine it together, and it makes something different, like a shield, or you place dice on the card as many times as a guy hit, and then it'll like add to something. That's what a perk is, and they're usually defined by a yellow box usually, and some text to go with it to explain what the perk is. And I believe that's all the colors. We did orange for moves, can only be used once per turn, and then we said constants and activators, which are the same color. It's just activators are IQ, cost, and they're usually defense. And then we have abilities at the start of your turn, and we have perks, and yeah, that's pretty much it. 6 minutes in, that's not bad. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. I have my Instagram, Tapn, in the description, and just let me know if you're lost. All right, we're gonna get into rarities. One of my favorite things about the game. Each rarity does like make the card different, but each game is balanced because of our IQ cost and how we make the cards. So yeah, I demonstrated a U card. So we're gonna showcase the rarity right here. The 4 diamonds means that it's the fourth highest rarity of the game, and we go all the way up to 6, and we go as down to 1. You'll never see a no star. And yeah, that's the U card. We're gonna move on to a fighter. Fighters protect your U card on the field. You can spawn as many fighters as you want, and when they're KO'd, you discard them. And yeah, you can only play a fighter, like you can only attack with a fighter if they're the same as your U card. Your U card has to be the same creature type. Down here you'll see where the creature type is for him, and then up here you'll find it there. But when I make the cards more polished, I'm gonna figure out where I want everything to be. It's just these are hand drawn, and I kind of don't care. If they're hand drawn, I'll let them be a little sloppy so I can get as many ideas as I want. So yeah, a fighter, as many as you want. You could play as many as your field can hold. You can only play 5 slots for fighters, so yeah, but you can only play 1 of each other type of cards. So if you have, like, for example, introduce the equipable. This is a Vooz pin, basically a wax pin. There we go. It says blow in face. You activate your equipables before you attack with the equipped fighter. So let's say that I'm in my attack phase now and I want to attack. I would activate my equipable to I'd pay 7 IQ to freaking get it out, but I would use blow in the face. When used, choose 1 fighter on the field. They can't attack for 3 turns. Fighter who smokes this card is in the air for 3 turns. Alright, cool. So both of these would get activated because this is supposed to be green and it's supposed to activate when you use the use, but it's not green, it's orange, so oh well. But I would basically go in the air, which is a field mechanic we have. I'm gonna create tokens for it. so that people can know that the card's in the air, and then you can just put a dice on it and count it down. And then when a card is in the air, they can't be hit unless it is a item or an action card or a ranged attack. Cards will have an R box, like a box, and it'll be an R inside, and it will demonstrate that that card is ranged by their moves. This has no ranged attack, he just attacks. But anyways, yeah, that's what an equipable is. When you would use all the uses, which this one has 25 uses, don't think it'll run out. I think it'll get discarded before you would discard it, right? All right, anyways, let's move on to this type of card. It's a 2 fighter. We have other types of fighter cards which basically help like spawning a big boss, and this is 2 fighters. This is one of our first demos for 2 fighters that I want to demonstrate. They changed now, but I want to show you guys how they were back then. This is Ian and Axel. You pay 1 IQ to play, and it would take 1 slot, but it'd count as 2 fighters, and they had separate HPs. But nowadays we have the same HP, but it's still 2 fighters. So when that 1 HP goes, then both of the fighters go. But the HP is significantly higher. And when you would pay this IQ in the middle, you would attack with both attacks at the same time. So you'd be like, I'm gonna use side punch, and then I'm gonna use uppercut, and that'd basically deal 9 damage if you choose to hit the same fighter with both attacks, if you can get that right. But yeah, they're updated now. Only the thing that changed is the HP is that they're 1 now, and that's 2 fighters. And before I get into a different type of card, I want to demonstrate more of the text. Earlier I said something about ranged attacks for a fighter that goes in the air. We're gonna talk about range. No, not range. We're gonna talk about now attacks and now abilities, and those are indicated by an N right there, and those are basically usable on your opponent's turn. When it is a orange text with a now symbol, that means you can use that attack on your opponent's turn whenever, and it'll be like a surprise hook, like boom, you just hit them out of surprise. Which this should have range on it as well, because it is veggie throw, so it should be range and a now attack. And when you do use a now attack, an opponent can cancel out an attack onto their field with another now attack. So if your opponent were to attack this card, you can use veggie throw, and the damage will basically connect, and whoever has the most damage will overtake the other fighter, or whoever deals the most damage will overtake the other fighter, and they will take the rest of the damage. And yeah, that's a way to like try to contest an attack if you have a decent enough now attack. But you can always use this green text right here and block reduce attack by 7, and you pay 3 IQ. Well, it's basically veggie throw, but instead of, you know, it being a move, you're blocking. And yeah, that's basically the now mechanic. It's really dope, and it changes the field a lot, because some cards can hit more than once. All right, anyways, we're gonna get over here with Emmanuel the kickboxer, and this is a power-up. Here we have Emmanuel the fighter, and you can play this power-up on this card whenever, thanks to the blue text down here for paying it. It says place this card on fighter human Emmanuel the kickboxer to use when this is KO'd, fighter is at 1 HP. So that means when this card gets KO'd, this fighter would be at 1 regardless of how much HP it had, regardless of anything. It's now at 1 HP. The damage doesn't go over when you were to KO this. It doesn't go over and hit this guy. But anyways, the power up is absolutely amazing. It's like going Super Saiyan, right? We have a move here, and when you were to use it, you would pay 10 of the currency up here called stamina, and that counts as your HP and your attack cost, which is why when this card gets KO'd, this fighter would be at 1 HP. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh wait, we're gonna explain item cards, which are basically action cards. Some of them can be played on your opponent's turn, like this one. It's a in mechanic. It's one of the old ones. It's called Tapn back then, but we called them Tapn for dumb reasons. I don't know, but I changed it to N because it just felt better and it just looked better for a card game, you know. It just looked better. So you could play this on your opponent's turn, and it says flip a coin when attacked. If heads, it does nothing. And yeah, that's basically it. And it's called Pool Noodle. You pay 1 IQ to do it. And then we have a field card. It basically affects your opponent's field, and it affects your field as well. And this one is a tap in play. Again, you can play it on your opponent's turn. At the start of your turn, instead of gaining 5 IQ, roll 2 dice. That's what you gain. And this should be green because it's going to be a constant and you have to do it when this is on the field. And you pay 1 IQ to do it. It's called dice, dice, dice. And lastly, we have a land called Miss Daisy's Bakery. You pay 3 IQ to play it. And it says it's an ability. Search your deck for an item, which is called action cards now. Search your deck for an action, 2 diamond or lower, that heals, put in hand, shuffle deck. And yeah, your land can be attacked. As you can see, it has HP, but when it's on the field, your opponent can choose not to attack it if you have no fighters to protect you. Your opponent can just attack you directly. And that is the rules of the game. I don't know if I explained that when you use fighters, they have to be the same as your archetype or your U card's creature type, which this dude is human. You can tell, oh my god. You can tell right there. See, human. And yeah, if you choose to put a different creature type in your deck or whatever, you can. But if you want to attack, aka use the orange moves, you can't use the other types of fighters that you have. You have to use that fighter that turn only, or you can use all of the other fighters that relate to your U card that turn only. You can't use that card to attack as well. It's just a way to help keep it balanced. But anyways, that is Tapn. I recorded a video that was like 5 minutes shorter than this, but I don't think it explained really what I wanted to break down as best. Wait, one more thing before you guys go. When you power up your fighters, you can use the moves under, but not anything else. No other types of colors. You can use the orange attacks, and they won't count for your stamina. So let's say you don't want to use your stamina, you could just use the attacks and use whatever currency that that card requires. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Tapn.